personal opinion.
Well, don't worry. Season 2 will change that. Anyway, we were talking about the X-Files before
Okay.
I hit play, so that's not what this is about. Because I'm tired of waiting for the next episode of Night Country.
Yeah.
So we're like, fuck it, let's start season 3. Because all those episodes are out, might as well start it, and we'll watch the first episode, and we'll see if it's any good. Or if, or, you know, how, whatever. We'll just see if it's any good. Especially compared to season 2.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a great first episode.
It was good.
That was a fantastic first episode, and yeah, season 2 is just that bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like True Detective was a fluke. It just seems that that second season was just bad.
Okay. I think that this season 3, looks a lot like The Outsider to me.
I
Like
think this was before.
the aesthetics, like the cinematography.
Well, they're using color. So the thing is that it's they didn't make it any easier to follow this time around. So we're doing. Yeah, season 2 didn't do the whole time thing like the first season did. Because first season it was like we start off, we're in the 90s, and we're getting interviewed. They're getting interviewed in 2012 or whatever. But they're going to the case that was in 95, and then we see an update in like 2001 or whatever, and then it goes to present day, and then we go and try to find the killer. Season 2 didn't do that. That was not the reason season 2 was not good. Season 2 just wasn't good. This one's like, all right, 3 time periods.
Yeah, season 2 is so horrible, and then season 3 right now is really good. Like the first episode.
This is just the first episode.
Yeah.
We're doing 3 time periods. 1980, 1990, and then 2019, I think. Or 2019 or 2015,
Yeah.
I think. And
They're doing different.
they mentioned memory
interviews.
loss.
Yeah, our main character's having some memory loss.
He talks about memory loss, and he's like fading in and out of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Because they're doing some kind of documentary. They didn't really explain the documentary. We just kind of walked into that.
Yeah.
Documentary about this case that he's on. And then in 1990, he's getting interviewed about the case that he did back in 80. So we're going in between multiple time periods. I'm not confused by the multiple time periods, but it would be really easy for it to happen.
It was a little confusing for me, but I was like,
Everything's
okay.
confusing for me.
Because I was like, wait, he looks older in the second time period where he's getting interviewed. But then in the third time period, I was like, oh, okay, so there is 3 different, okay. That makes more
1980,
sense.
1990, and 2015.
Yeah. But I mean,
wonder if he's dealing with Alzheimer's.
I thought you said that's what he was dealing with.
I think he is, but they didn't say it.
Oh.
So I don't know. That's what I thought, because I'm seeing him like... I remember when they did the trailers for the show when it first came out, and that's what I thought it was, because I saw him, he was struggling with his memories in his mind. But
Well, this case may have fucked up his mind so much that, like, that can't happen with PTSD. You can, like, develop memory problems.
well, so far they solved the case in the first episode, so that was interesting. Well, they
Kinda.
solved part of it. I didn't expect them to find him.
Spoiler alert, they found the boy.
They didn't find the girl, and then they revealed that the reason. So it's like there's this case in 1980 where these children go missing.
Yeah.
No one knows who did it. Whatever. They went to the go park. Apparently lied about what they were doing because they said they were going to go to the park to see their friend's new dog. But then when they interviewed the friend, they said they could come over, but we never went to the park and we never made a date for it. So they lied about what they were doing. We don't know what they were actually doing. So they go to the park and then get abducted and killed. Well, one gets killed, and then they find him and set up ritualistically with like just hands clasped together and everything. And there's all these weird paper dolls. It's weird cult shit. But they never found the girl. And we don't know what happens next because we haven't watched the other episodes. Then in 1990, he's getting interviewed about it because they've had a break in the case and they think the guy that they put away is the wrong guy. And then in 2015, he's being interviewed for a documentary about it. Just about the case in general, some true crime thing. And it's going through all those different time periods. And it's really interesting. And if you pay attention, they use a different color palette to distinguish between the 3 different time periods.
Yeah.
Because when they're in the 80s, there's almost no color. Everything is desaturated as hell.
Yeah.
Even the police lights, there's no red. It's all blue. Everything's blue. Blue and white and gray. Even when they're supposed to be like a sunset stuff, it's very like dead winter. But in 2015, everything seems normal colors. Everything seems a lot brighter. There's more yellows, oranges, everything. In the 90s, I think it's more or less just more normal, but we didn't have too many scenes, and they're just in an office. So it's hard to tell. But, like, I find it interesting. There's definitely a lot more going on. We got them teenagers and that purple VW Bug being weird.
Yeah.
And then we got the teenagers playing with that bike that looked like one of the kids' bikes, because we saw...
Yeah.
Because they were partying up there and they're playing with some kind of bike and they threw it around, which he later finds, and that leads him to the cave.
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
I have the theory that the teenagers did something, but it's like, you know, the satanic craze in the 80s? Because he was talking about the teenager shirt, right? And he's like,
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, he's
the
like...
Satanic Panic?
Yeah, he's like, oh, is that Satanism or whatever, right? I think it's like these teenagers are doing some satanic crap or something, and they killed these kids.
Well, see,
or something.
Satanic is... So there's definitely some weird cult shit going on, but it's not satanic. Remember, satanic is specific.
Yeah.
We didn't see any satanic symbols in terms of Satan, in terms of worshiping the devil or demons. Actual satanic shit, not people who just say they're satanic, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We're seeing something that's very specific. You're not seeing any Blair weird shit. You're seeing these dolls.
We saw the dolls, which is some freaky, like, Blair Witch
But they
shit.
don't... But they're dolls and they have bonnets. They're
yeah,
not...
They're like little pilgrim ladies.
They're not... They're not like... They don't have horns, they're not demons, teeth, stuff like that. They're not these weird stick figure things. They're these very specific dolls. And I don't know what that means, but it doesn't exactly go back to anything relating to devil stuff.
I mean, if it's not... I mean, okay... I have another thing. Okay.
One of many.
If it's not occult related,
It's probably cult related.
I feel like the killer left those dolls to protect the boy's body, because dolls and like things like that. You know how in the first season they had the spirit traps, right? It's a similar concept. Like these little dolls are acting as
Totems.
yeah, they're acting to protect the boy's corpse or like his spirit or whatever.
So obviously we're dealing with someone who's unhinged and insane. Okay, cool.
I mean, it is a very common practice in multiple religions and cultures.
So this dude's insane, is what we're saying. Cool.
I mean,
But
it could be cult stuff. It could
I think
not
it's
be.
very culty, because I don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
these
that's-
white women dolls are about.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
it's very culty.
More
already.
concerning is the peephole they found in the boy's closet.
Oh yeah, that was freaky.
That goes into the sister's room, and it's right in front of the mirror where she'd be getting dressed.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the boy did that, because they talked about this cousin that they view as an
Freaky,
uncle.
freaky cousin.
And he comes and stays over. And then there were these old Playboys they found on the boy's mattress, which is normal. It's
Yeah.
not. Playboy doesn't mean anything sinister. It's just like, all right, your son's got some porn.
Yeah.
Little bit worse that he may have been looking at his naked sister. That's a problem.
Yeah.
They were
that's-
They were 10 and 12 years old, and I don't know which was the older one.
Yeah, I don't
the-
remember.
The girl looked younger, I think.
It's still freaky though. and
But-
weird.
My thing is I don't know if they meant this, but it sounded like this cousin is kind of creepy,
Yeah.
and I think he may have been looking at that girl when he stayed over.
Yeah.
We didn't see a whole lot of
He
rooms.
probably did something fucked up to the boy, and then he ran off with the girl.
Well, we don't know if the cousin is related to any of the killing. But I'm just saying that he stayed over, and we also discovered this other weird shit. That boy got these old Playboys somehow. Someone probably gave them to him.
Yeah.
That or he, continued the long lineage of finding wood porn.
Well,
Do you know about porn in the woods?
yeah.
It's a weird phenomenon.
It's weird.
I don't think it exists anywhere else but the United States. But man, is it
I mean, it
it's
probably does, but
when you find it, what a time to be alive. There is something. So ever since pictures have been invented, there has been a thing where if you were a young boy, young group of friends, whatever, and you go out into the woods, you will at some point in time be introduced to woods porn. And you will find it. Sometimes it'll be just a random magazine laying on the ground, so some trash that got away. Sometimes you'll find a stash, and that's the fun ones. But you got to be sure to put it back. You don't want to. You don't want the wrath of whoever put that shit there, because they put it in this tree in the middle of the woods for a reason. Everybody's experienced woods porn. But it's slowly dying.
I think that the cousin is a reference to Richard Ramirez, because he was in the 80s, right?
Whoa, what are we going through now?
Okay, so Richard Ramirez, he was in the 80s, right? So the story about him is that it was either his cousin or his uncle would show him like porn magazines, pictures of women that he was attacking. He would sexually assault them, and he would kill them, or like sexually assault them and take pictures of them. And he would show Richard Ramirez these pictures when he was a little boy, and that kind of fucked him up a little bit. I mean, it's still no excuse, but it like fucked him up, and it created a monster. But I'm kind of getting that kind of vibes from this cousin. Like, he's like giving this little boy these porn
didn't get created. He's dead, so.
Well, I know, but he's given this. Well, we assume that he's giving this little boy these porn mags, and he's like peeking in on the little girl. I'm thinking he's got some fucked up shit going on.
Well, teenagers in that VW Bug definitely had something to do with this.
Yeah, and this is the 80s, and Richard Ramirez was around in the 80s, and that was kind of the time where the satanic panic type of thing was around, because he's known for that. He's the guy who cut the pinnacle in his hand and was showing it in court. Do you remember that?
I wasn't alive for that, Scarlett.
I mean, like, there's pictures online of him doing it.
Do I remember that? Ah, yes.
Or, like, where he showed...
I am back in 83. No, I wasn't...
No, like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I've heard of Ramirez, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the story, is that basically he had some other things, like trauma. Like, he had a lot of head trauma.
No.
And,
Not this level-headed man.
No, like, and, like, he was doing all these things. Like, his older cousin was doing that to him. And, like, that's just what that reminds me of for some reason. I was just like, oh, God, is this some fucking Richard Ramirez shit? Like, I mean, in the 80s, like, that's kind of like a well-known thing, like, is that people was doing this type of shit because it was the 80s. Nothing was, like, it was so easy to get away with crime back then. It was just, you know.
There's some weird shit to say about the 80s for a decade that you...
Oh, I love the 80s.
Could not be any farther away from.
Oh, I know.
Want to know about the 80s? You can talk to my mother.
Oh, yes.
That's when she had her children. Her first two kids.
Oh.
83, 87. That's when they were born.
Well, the 80s is, like, known...
I was born much later, 96.
Well, I don't know. That's just what it reminds me of. Because this is the 80s, you know, back then, crime was just easier to commit, sadly, you know, unfortunately.
I think crime's just as easy to commit. You just have
to
know how to do it.
You know, cameras weren't that good. Hardly anybody had a cell phone, you know.
Well, if it's 1980, nobody had a cell phone.
Drugs were so normalized, you know. Very bad parenting. Very bad parenting styles.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, like,
I'll give you that
literally, one. People would be like, okay, kids, go play, go do something, and just be back before, like, sundown.
Okay, that's not his fault, what happened.
I know, but it's bad parenting.
It's not his fault. It's not bad parenting.
No.
It's not if it's a safe community. No, you're a fucking latchkey, so you don't know shit. You look, let me listen. It's not bad parenting, because if you actually research this shit, it turns out doing what you want to do is bad parenting, which is never letting them leave the house.
I would let them leave the house.
No, you wouldn't!
Just not without me. I don't care if that's bad. I don't care.
Oh, now we don't care if it's bad. Oh, okay.
There's too many weirdos out there. There's too many freaks. There's too many creeps. I don't care. I don't care if they're like, oh, you're attached to your kid by the hip.
You need to find a middle ground. You should care. You should listen to the doctors. This is why you're in such bad shape, is you don't listen.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have kids, so...
Good. Okay. There's lots of things. Okay. I'm not saying I should have children either. Fuck that.
Okay.
I can barely take care of myself. You think I can take care of... Well, I'm taking care of you. You think I can take care of someone else on top of that?
I mean... I took care of, like, my 7 siblings.
It's not what it means, Scarlett. I'm talking about, and there's a difference, than me, who cannot afford to live anywhere, is living in a camper right now going, I'm going to have some children, bring them into the world,
That's
and
basically what
can't
my mother
afford
did.
to... Yes, and was that a good decision,
Yeah,
Scarlett?
No, she was...
Use some
that's
critical
fucked up.
thinking skills we're trying to build.
No. I know how hard it is to take care of kids, that's why I'm not having them. Because, backstory is that basically my mother would just leave all the time, and she left me
This
with
is not True Detective Season 3.
my 4 siblings, one of which I've, disowned or whatever. But then also her now ex-boyfriend's kids, 3 of them. And, all of which are mentally disabled, special needs, everything. Which is a lot harder to take care of, especially because I was 12 at the
But
time.
how does this solve the case in True Detective?
I don't know.
It doesn't. Let's stop depressing people with actual things that are happening. Let's talk about the fake murders that people seem to like.
Okay, I found it freaky that the little kid was posed up.
Yeah?
I mean, that's
you think
a
that
normal,
was freaky?
That's like a normal funeral pose, though.
It was not a normal funeral pose. How many fucking funerals have you been to, Scarlett? That is not a normal funeral pose.
That's like a Catholic pose. I don't know.
No, because you put their hands up like that, you can't close the door. The pose is like this. Or like this, where they're laying flat.
I've seen one with their
Or
hands,
like this,
yeah.
around there. But his hands were put up, and
Like
his
he was
fingers
praying.
were curled around each other
Yeah.
up here. And it was like above his head. That's not normal.
Well, I've seen in Catholic.
Don't ever let Scarlett do your funeral home shit. You're gonna see
Okay.
some weird things with that open
I actually
casket.
used to want to be a coroner and a mortician, so whatever.
I'll
But
tell you right now, that's one of the only jobs that there's always gonna be a market for.
yeah, that's a very freaky market. But yeah,
They're probably hiring like crazy right now because people
Oh,
are
yeah.
dying. But
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there.
but no, there's a thing, Catholics, in the church, if your body is preserved, they put it on display, you're posed.
Yes, we understand the Catholics are stupid and
And your
crazy.
hands, sometimes they'll pose your hands
They're
like
gonna
that.
put you in a weird glass box. That's different.
Yeah, which is so sad, but it is so interesting.
Nope.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. Anyways, but sometimes Catholics, well, I don't
It's
know.
the reason the schism exists.
What?
There's a reason the schism exists.
Okay. Anyways.
Because people got tired of that weird bullshit, got the fuck out of there. That's why.
Well, but the thing was with Catholics,
I guess
sometimes
that'd be the Protestant Reformation. But
when they preserve their bodies to be on display and stuff, they'll pose the bodies in very specific ways. And sometimes they'll make it look like they're sleeping, or something, or sometimes they'll pose them straight up.
Yep,
That type
that
of thing.
seems totally godly.
Yeah.
That
I
doesn't
don't.
that doesn't seem weird culty at all. I'm gonna be all, yep, totally. Jesus, A-okay with that. Yep.
Have you ever heard of saint bodies
Listen,
where they don't decompose? It's so freaky.
listen.
I don't believe in God. I don't believe in religion, but that is freaky. But I think it's all backed by science, because you can preserve a body in a very specific way to keep them looking like they're sleeping for a long time.
It's called don't put air in there. That's all they did. They
No,
fucking
no.
vacuum sealed it.
There's specific ways that they do it.
But,
Mm.
listen. You're not telling me anything about the Catholic Church that I don't know. In fact, I tell you things about the Catholic Church that you didn't know. You didn't know what a fucking cardinal was.
Yeah.
Till
Well, I
we
didn't
were watching
pay
the Three
attention.
Musketeers. You're like, why is Tim Curry all dressed up in red? I'm like, he's a cardinal. You're like, what's a cardinal? Isn't that a bird? And I'm like, I want to...
Well, I didn't pay attention in Catholic school. I was
Apparently
busy
fucking
having
not,
psychosis,
Scarlett.
Okay. I was busy having psychosis. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
And lusting after your priest.
yeah. Oh.
But how does that solve this murder?
I don't know. I just wanted to say something about that because I don't know if that's a Catholic pose, but I mean, that's just what.
We are not dealing with Catholics.
Oh,
I
no,
guarantee we're not dealing with Catholics or Catholic posts.
No, there'd be some.
I know
more
children were
weird
abducted and hurt, but there's more than just the Catholics that do that.
stuff. Yeah. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
fun joke.
Yeah. No, I've been to Catholic school, and then I've been to a Catholic college. Yeah, there's some freaky stuff that they do. Like weird stuff. Not only just because of the religion, but they do some like trafficking and stuff like that. I've seen it personally.
But okay.
I'm sorry.
I have to. If it wasn't just about the episode, if it was just regular podcast bullshit, I wouldn't mind. I'd maybe try to direct a little bit, but is this supposed to be about an episode of one episode of a TV show?
Okay. It was good. I liked it. I like our main character.
I think you're getting off track just because you want to watch the next episode. You're mad I won't let you watch it.
Yeah.
Make you wait a week.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I like our main character.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good actor.
Yeah,
he's Blade.
He's pretty good.
He's the new Blade.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. If that movie ever gets fucking made. But, yeah.
He was pretty good. I like his, just his vibe overall. Like, he seems like he's investigating.
No, you like the woman that's going to play, I think, his future wife in the show.
Yeah, she's so
the really
attractive.
hot school teacher.
Yeah.
That he was like...
She's so beautiful.
He was trying to ask questions about the kids, but kept forgetting about them. And it's like, yeah, you're hot.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, what's up?
I
Teaches English for 8 through 12. Apparently, there's no other English teachers in this entire school.
Yeah. I was like, dang, she better get paid good.
We don't know how big the town is. At least how big that school is.
It looks like a small town.
But that's a lot. That's a lot of...
Yeah, I mean...
There were 3 English teachers? 3 or 4. Because we also had the AP. Well, it's AP. Well, they were like the AP, and then some did the regular one. But we had 3 or 4. I know there were like laymen. Yeah, there was at least 3.
Yeah, at my high school.
Just in high school.
Yeah, my high school we had like 3 or 4, and then we had a reading teacher.
The fuck is a reading teacher?
This is a class where we read books, and that's it. And then we'd like answer questions about the books.
That's cool.
And then we'd take tests on them.
Ain't that an English class?
No.
I don't like Missouri. Anyway.
I mean, that's just how it was.
True Detective Season 3, Episode 1. We might...
10 out of 10, I liked it. Spooky.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Was it as good as Night Country's first episode?
No, not yet.
No. I said it was as good as Night Country's first episode. Just the first
a lot
episode.
more spooky stuff happened there.
I like Night Country's first episode better because it kind of kicked you in the head.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to be scared.
Yeah, you wanted spooky, we're going to give you spooky.
Was it better than Season 1's first episode?
No. It's almost there. I feel like we're getting there.
I said first episode, not the season. Just the first episode. It's definitely better than... It's better than all of Season 2.
Oh,
This episode's better than all of Season 2.
Yeah. Obviously.
God, Season 2's bad.
Yeah.
But, like... I like it. I like that they're doing some weird shit, too.
Yeah.
They don't have to be so weird about it. Like, Night Country, they're not bouncing around time. We're in one city... Well, one town in the middle of fucking Alaska and weird shit's happening. That's it.
Interesting enough, there wasn't like a lot of weird stuff with the boy's death except for the dolls and him being posed up.
It's relatively bloodless.
Yeah.
There was no blood.
Yeah, that was a little
And
strange.
Mahershala Ali said he had a head injury, but we never saw that.
Yeah, it could have been just in the back of his head.
No blood. Didn't seem like any signs of struggle.
Yeah.
No bruising of any kind that was shown. But the kid was dead. That's all we knew.
He was like fully
That's
clothed
pretty strange.
and everything. Like he's just posed up like he was.
Usually a kid would want to get
down.
it unless he was, I don't know, poisoned. But even then,
Toxicology
he was
would show
very
up.
clean.
Yeah, he looked just pale.
These types of murders, if you know anything about these, and I do for some reason, because I have to research everything. I don't know. Maybe that's gonna make me a better minister. Who knows? But
Oh yeah.
What are you gonna talk about, Reverend? We're gonna talk about true crime? Nah, it's just Bible crap. Let's talk about let's talk about murder. No, because I have to research everything. Though there's some true crime stuff in religious studies.
I'm sure.
Well, there's a lot of murder. There's a lot of murder. But that's neither here nor there. That's not True Detective Season 3. Anyway, 10 out of 10. You ready to watch the second episode?
Yeah. Oh, we watching the second episode
Maybe.
tonight?
maybe, and then we might watch some X-Files after that.
Okay. I like X-Files.
Because once we finish season 1 of X-Files,
I think
then we'll
everybody...
do our
I
X-Files
have an
podcast.
opinion. Sorry to interrupt, but I want to get this on really quick. I have an opinion about X-Files. Everybody on X-Files is trans. Sorry.
The fuck does that mean?
I don't make the rules. I just headcanon.
That makes no sense. What?
Everybody on X-Files is trans.
One of them can't be.
Who?
Scully.
How? Why?
Because that's future spoilers. I can't tell you. No, none of them can be. It's future spoilers.
Mulder is a trans man to me, and Scully is a trans.
Actually, Dave Duchovny plays a woman a lot. So
does he?
Yeah, that's the whole thing in Twin Peaks where he plays a trans FBI agent. It's a weird. The 90s were fun.
See, he's trans.
He's not. Stop it.
What? You can't stop me.
I think I can.
Every time I watch the show,
I
I'm like,
think
nope.
that's disrespectful to trans people.
What?
I think doing that, throwing that, I think it can be, especially you haven't seen the whole show, so you can't just say shit.
I mean, they're kind of queer coded so far.
They're okay. Look, they're absolutely queer coded, and Julie Anderson, I believe, is bi, so that's different. Being queer coded is different, but saying they're all trans is interesting. And they're also not going through those issues as two straight white people in the show.
They're not going through the issues.
Just wait till we get to the episode where they kill Martin Luther King.
Oh my god.
Episodes.
That's crazy.
Apparently the Smoking Man does it or whatever. But no, there's let's not say the Smoking Man's trans. That's not good. That doesn't help the community. That's not, because he killed MLK. Let's not do that.
Oh, no. I'm talking about mainly just Mulder and Scully. That's it.
You think about weird things, because everybody else was like, man, when are they gonna fuck? Because that's what they want. They want Mulder and Scully to get together.
If they're trans, I mean.
No, you're in for.
I'm not too far into the X-Files, but every time I'm like,
Considering Scully gets pregnant at one point in time, it's gonna be really.
There's aliens in the show, bro.
Yeah, and that's how they. That
would be the less weird thing. Oh my goodness.
They're not I think there are trans characters in the show later. So let's not do.
Oh, well, that's
the show. There's. This is not supposed to be about the X-Files. The show has, I think, 12 seasons and 2 movies.
Okay.
And had 2 seasons in 2015 and 16.
Oh.
Like the show is, and a video game that we've played and got really frustrated playing. Yeah. The show has been on air for a while. It's a good show. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's stop this whole thing so we can watch episode 2.
Okay.